Well, hello and welcome to the Ironvor Coachcast, Ep02, with myself, Alan, and my friend Benny here.
G'day.
And we are back. We are back for week 2 of Benny's transformation process. So, Benny, how are you, mate?
How you going,
How's
mate?
your week been?
Well, much better than the first week that we spoke. I'm still got the residue of a little bit of a cough, but I can hear, I can breathe, and I can think a little bit more clearly, which is good. And feeling a little bit lighter on my feet. So, 2 weeks in, feeling good.
Looking good and feeling good, huh?
Thanks, buddy.
That's excellent. Yeah. So, so what's been happening this week as far as carnivore goes? Obviously you were sick. So Friday when I saw you, still very sick. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Let's walk us through the progression this week.
So, I've been pretty disciplined. In fact, the only little quirks, I've been having a bit of milk in my coffee just for a bit of comfort, but that's not cheating. I started off thinking I was just going to drink black coffee, but I've maybe had three, maybe 4 lattes as a bit of a comfort drink in the week. I've managed to be social without being too much of a pain in the ass. I was out at a meeting at La Bouvette the other night, and I tell a lie, I did have a glass of red wine, which is definitely cheating. I was at La Bouvette, but I ate all carnivore, so just saucisson, chicken liver pate, steak tartare. It was very hard not to eat the crusty bread with it, but I didn't. And I reckon my food is on point, eating big breakfasts, lots of bacon, lots of eggs through the day, sipping on chicken bone broth, which is delicious. And then working my way through lots of Scotch fillet.
Lovely. Good. So only a little slip up with the wine. Yeah,
Lovely.
that's all right. Hey, you got to live your life, you know.
It was a glass, not a bottle.
Yeah, that's right. No, yeah. Well, that's baby steps, mate. That's it. So how did you feel the next day after the wine? Did you notice that you'd had some wine?
I didn't. Yeah, but I think that's just because my body's probably feeling more peculiar not having the wine. I think I need to create the homeostasis before I start feeling peculiar having wine in there.
Yeah, it will take a while. For me now, if I have any alcohol, I definitely feel it the next day. Many years ago, I would have felt a hangover the next day when I was clearly, going large on the alcohol. But now I definitely feel like the after effects of the alcohol. But yeah, okay. So
hangover if it's just carnivore specific?
I think so, yeah. Even if it's just a light hangover, it's still a hangover.
Yeah. 1 glass of wine.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do some investigating into your food log. So I'm going to share the screen now.
Not that I'm counting calories, but because I'm putting it all into my fitness pal, it's giving me the calories.
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
running around 1,800, 2,000 calories a day. Occasionally when I get really happy with the steak, that might blow out a little bit to 2,400 because steak is quite calorie dense. That's pretty cool.
Can I get rid of...
I'll point out that just in case it comes up clearly in the report there, my steps are certainly nowhere near athletic performance. I think I'm averaging about 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. So I'm not doing anything really athletic through this process. I've been to the gym once.
Well, the exercise activity is only a small percentage of your total daily energy expenditure, right? So the TDEE. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of energy that is calculated just to keep you alive. So you could be laying in bed and just with your heart beating and breathing and keeping all your bodily systems running. That's what they determine to be your daily caloric load for just to survive, right? So that basal metabolic rate, we never really want to go under that because that's like a starvation type thing. Although I'm not a big supporter of calories in, calories out. It's not. It's not exact. It's not. It's a great benchmark. Which I guess let's do a quick segue because this is going to go on air. So for the public, calories in and calories out. It is very effective on large population scales to tell people, and like say bodybuilders, for example, you can set a calorie target and you can try to eat that amount of food for a certain period of time and you see what happens to your body. So do you gain weight? Do you lose weight? Because that calorie number is going to roughly equal a volume of food. So the way that they measure calories, or the way that they specify calories, is a simple layman's understanding of it is they get a beaker and they put the food in the beaker, they fill that beaker full of pure oxygen, they set it on fire, it's surrounded in a chamber of water, it heats up the water. So the temperature of the water, then they calculate the number of calories from that. So, you know, can you imagine, like they put an orange in there, set it on fire, that's how many calories are in an orange. They put a steak in there, they set it on fire, that's how many calories are in a steak. So, but an orange and a steak have completely different nutrient profiles. So one is full of carbohydrates and vitamin C and, you know, water and plant proteins, etc. And the steak is full of, you know, like a living organism's muscle tissue. So that's the, you know, even if we balance the calories, so even if we balance the heat load off of each of these items, you know, 1,000 calories of orange and 1,000 calories of steak is not the same thing.
So it's pretty much just measuring the kilojoules of energy as opposed to micronutrients.
It is exactly. Yep. It is. It's exactly like a scientific measurement for heat energy. Now, the macros that we talk about with carbs, fat, and protein, they are weight measurements, which is, they're not volume measurements, but they are weight measurements. So they're more reliable than the calories. The weight of protein, because that's a volume of protein, and the weight of fat, that's a volume of fat, and the weight of carbs, that's a volume of carbohydrates. That's a lot more reliable and actually the way our body functions. Our bodies, they don't consume calories. Like, calories are not a nutrient. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. You know? All it understands is chemistry. So there's positive charges, negative charges, there's acids and bases and alkalines, and, you know, proteins are bonding with other proteins, and all this stuff is going on through DNA and all of this stuff, and never once is a calorie mentioned. So I do like calories. I think we need to pay attention to calories because it is a measurement that we can track and we can use. But yeah, it's not the end. It's not the end of the world if we're above or below our calories, because the calories are measured inaccurately. They could be up to 20% off. Every different calorie tracker has a different amount of calories. But the volume of food that you eat, so over time, if, like for me, for example, I eat about 1 kilo of red meat every day at the moment. I've come to that amount of food because that's where I'm at the moment. That meets my training goals. And I know that, you know, some days when I grab those trays of meat from the butcher or from the supermarket, it's, you know, it might be $9.50, and then the next day it might be $10.50, and the next day it might be $1,100, and the next day it might be $900, and the next day it might be $1,200. But if I just kind of aim for that kilo, that seems to be pretty effective. So right now, for you, we want to track every little thing we eat, so I can see this program target. Sorry, the protein target.
I'm not going hungry, and I'm not feeling hungry. Sometimes, and it's quite peculiar. Prior to this, I would walk through the back door and immediately I'd be hungry and have to make myself something, go to the fridge, whether
Yeah.
it's have a sandwich or a snack or some cashews. I'd walk through the door and immediately, if I wasn't hungry beforehand, it was a routine or a habit. And my hunger drive was actually quite strong, different times of the day. I haven't been getting hungry and I haven't been hungry. I have felt when I've eaten two big 500-600 gram steaks, a little overfill, like I couldn't even eat a steak for another couple of days. And I've had to push myself to eat when I've realized all I've had all day is some broth. That's new to me. So it's almost, I'm cognizant of what I'm putting in my mouth rather than just impulsively putting things in my mouth.
That's good. Yeah. You'll find as your reliance on carbohydrates starts to drop, that's what happens to your hunger signaling. So your hunger signaling should be about nutrients, but because as a society, we've been eating all these carbs our whole life, our hunger signals get mixed up with carbohydrate dependency. So sometimes people are hungry, not because they're actually hungry, but because they want that little kick of bread or that little kick of sugar, So yeah, that's good. If you're starting to realize that, some of those signals are going away, because with the protein, you should be satiated. With the high protein, high fat, your gut should be sending a signal to your brain saying, look, we've got plenty of nutrients. Thanks. Don't need any more. And that calms the mind.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's have a closer look at these macros. So right here, I've pulled a report out of MyFitnessPal. So this is the app that you've been tracking your food on, and you can see my cursor, can you? Waving down there. Yep. So we're going to look at protein, fat, and carbs. So here is yesterday, August the 7th. We've got coffee, some chicken bone broth, another bone broth, and then some cheese, liver. Whoa, saucisson. What's that?
Salami, French salami.
Salami. Okay, yep. And the steak tartare.
Yeah.
Was that just was that a raw steak? Yeah, cool. How'd you go with that?
Oh, delicious.
Yeah. Good.
And it had an egg cracked on it, a raw egg cracked on it as well.
Ooh, nice. That would have added a couple of grams of protein there. So that day there, I think our protein target for you was, let's go over here. Set here. Did I set the target? Yeah, goal. Here we go. So we've currently got you on 200 grams of protein, 200 grams of fat, and we're putting an allowance in there for 40 grams of carbs, but we're not trying to hit that. We want to avoid that. That's just basically because MyFitnessPal won't do a zero carb meal option.
What percentages would they be? So that's 55% fat, 45% fat, 45% protein.
Just 50-50 at the moment for you, yeah.
Just 50-50, that's what we're aiming for. Okay.
Yeah. Bear in mind that the 50%, 200 grams of protein and 200 grams of fat. So in let's say a kilo of ribeye, there might be 200 grams of fat and 200 grams of protein, but it's probably not exactly correct. So there's probably slightly less fat or slightly more fat depending on how fatty the cut is. So what I do is I tend to, I eat the steaks and stuff, and if the fat tastes good, sometimes I really love the fat, and I eat the fat. And if the fat doesn't taste very good, then I don't eat the fat. Because sometimes you get some steaks have got a big slab of fat on it, like beautiful white fat.
Just beautiful buttery fat.
It's just awesome, and you're like, oh, I love it. And then other times it's like, oh, I don't like it. So I guess that's my body telling me, how to regulate how much fat I'm eating. So I don't know if you have, or you could have a slice of butter on the side or something, and if the butter tastes good, then eat the butter. All right, let's go back to this chart. So yesterday, fairly low on protein. We're only about half the target, but we do have an egg in there as well. Fat would probably be, not too bad.
It was a low consumption day yesterday anyway. I didn't eat anything
Yeah,
until
and that's another good point, is the average of all the days is what matters, not daily. So one day you could have a big meal, next day have a small meal, but as the average is what matters. If we're training in the gym, then we want to try and keep our food fairly consistent with our training, so that, you know, there's building blocks there. Like when we train, we want the building blocks available to build the muscle and stuff from. But if we're not training, then, you know, the body's pretty intelligent. It stores things. It uses things when it needs to. It doesn't when it doesn't. Yeah. So August 6th, we have some lovely Scotch fillet and some coffee. Was that the only thing for the day?
Yeah, it was.
Yep. Excellent. See, that's about a kilo of Scotch fillet there. So the numbers here, see how it's slightly higher in protein than it is with fat? And that's pretty indicative of how most of the red meat is. So if you just have like a little bit of extra fat to go with most red meats, I think that should set you on target.
What a day. Half a litre of coffee, kilo of steak.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a good day. That's a good day in my book. All right, here we go. On the 5th. So we have some milk, some coffee, mushroom. That's it. You've had a vegetable. Game over. Nah, mushrooms, that's all right. What was that on? Was that on a home cooked or a cafe breakfast?
Was at a cafe. I ordered what I thought was just the pure protein, and there was mushrooms on there.
Yep.
It went.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. But I thought I'm loading it all in there. I thought, oh yeah, Alan's going to call me out on that.
Yep. Oh, well, that's, you know, just be mindful. Like,
it's good. That's like, even though it's on there, I was mindful of it.
Yeah, because when you're, you know, that might have been cooked in seed oils or, you know, with onion or with,
It
I
was
don't know.
definitely cooked in loads and loads of butter with some garlic in it.
Yeah. So when you're eating, like, I mean, for me, when I'm out at restaurants and cafes and pubs and whatever, you know, you can't control everything. So if you were allergic to peanuts, you wouldn't eat a peanut, right?
Correct.
But a mushroom's not going to kill you today. so it's okay.
Well, no, you've been following the media.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, all right. There you go. There's another vote for no mushrooms is the mushroom murders. For anyone international that's watching this, there was recently, we shouldn't laugh about it, there was actually a serious murder involving a woman poisoning her family with mushrooms. So yeah, not too good. Anyway, moving along. So we have some fried eggs and some bacon and more bone broth. So
I'm frying everything
overall,
in oil. I'm yet to make my own tallow. I've run out of the tallow I had, so everything's just being fried in butter.
Yep, that's fine. Tallow, if you'd like a local tallow shop, I can put you in touch with Tallow Tribe. Ellie is her name. She makes great tallow.
Yeah, I'll get that.
She's a local. What have we got here? So 100 grams for protein for that day. So yeah, we're still half the protein and about half the fat.
Got a double.
Yeah.
That's going to be an effort.
But we are also trying to lose weight, okay? So this is where the calories in, calories out people are probably jumping at the screen because they'll be saying, you know, there's too many calories, to go into a weight loss phase. But the body doesn't process fat the same way as it does carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, you eat carbohydrates, it goes into your blood, no question. It gets digested. It always goes into your blood. Fats, however, are digested with bile. So that comes out the gallbladder. So the gallbladder stores a bunch of bile, which is created in the liver. And It sits there, and it sits there, and it sits there, and when you eat meat and fat, it squirts a bit out. Now, if you have too much fat and the body has no requirement for fat, it kind of down-regulates the amount of bile that's available. So you should just pass through, okay? So it doesn't necessarily get
If you don't need it, your body just passes it through. Okay, good.
Yeah. That's not a hard rule though. So some people do need to reduce the amount of fat they eat. But let's just see what happens, because we have to set a target and try to stick to it. So, because consistency is king, right? So if we have no target and we're just waving all over the place with our intake, then we don't know, like, we've got no idea if we're losing or gaining weight because of the way we're eating. We just, eat some, not eating, eating a lot, not eating. So we have to set a target, try to stick to it and see what happens, and then adjust. So yeah, first thing, we've got to get that protein right up. We get that fat right up. That makes sure that our body has all the building blocks it requires to heal any conditions, to optimize hormones, to make sure the organs are functioning correctly, etc. And then, like what I say with, we train the mind and the body follows. Well, we heal the body, and then so we bring health, and then fitness follows.
Do we need to talk about the cholesterol and sodium levels in what I'm consuming?
I'm not concerned about cholesterol at the moment. There's been some recent conjecture about cholesterol in the medical space, right? So it's very unclear to me that there's any damaging effects of cholesterol in and of itself. Like, having a high number on a blood test doesn't seem to equate to heart disease like they've been saying for 50 years or so. So I was watching a really good explanation about atherosclerotic plaque, and cholesterol is involved in the plaque, but the damage to the blood vessel linings, so the damage to the cell wall of the arteries, is done by high blood pressure and excess blood glucose. So basically, imagine like a tear in the artery, like a little tiny little puncture, and then a little blob of cholesterol ends up in the hole, and then immune reactions, etc. I think they were called cytokines. Might be wrong. Might delete that comment. I don't know. But yeah, might edit that one out. I don't know. But anyway, so this immune response to like the broken cell wall and the little tiny piece of cholesterol in there, that it blocks it up and forms a little bit of scar tissue over the top, and that's how the plaque builds and forms. So cholesterol is in every cell membrane. It's in your brain. Your body produces most of it in your blood. The dietary cholesterol doesn't really equate to blood cholesterol. Heart attacks, heart disease, studies and statistics lately have shown that people with low cholesterol get heart attacks, people with high cholesterol get heart attacks. You're more likely to have a heart attack with low cholesterol than you are with high cholesterol. So
I have measured my blood cholesterol, blood glucose, if you said glucose is the problem, and a few metrics. Do you want me to pass them to you? And we can discuss.
Let me just change over to this screen. I've opened up this little image here. This one is the ketone image, and this one is the glucose. So this blood glucose level chart. So basically, I think what I want to talk to you about with blood glucose, and because if you're measuring your blood glucose and your ketones at the moment, in this early stage of fat adaptation or keto adaptation, as it may be. So we're how many days in are you now? Is it 14 or 17?
Sorry, 14. We're 2 weeks officially.
Yeah. So we're 2 weeks in. The liver stores blood glucose. So it stores glucose and it stores fat, and it can take a long time for the liver to deplete all of its stores before you really ramp up ketoneogenesis. So whatever you're reading at the moment off your blood glucose and your ketones are probably low.
They
and
are.
Your blood
My
glucose
ketones come in at 1.0.
Yep. Okay.
So it's base level nutritional ketosis. But prior to that, when I was just on a high carb, just my normal diet, they were reading 0.2. Now they're 1.0. So
Yeah, that's good. So they've come up.
So it's come up significantly.
Yeah, so you're on a five-fold increase if you want to look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Glucose, and I don't know what these readings equate to. You can probably help me. 8.0, and then there's a percentage, which is 42%. 8.0 and 42%.
Looking at this chart, this is all in milligrams per deciliter and millimoles.
This would put 8.0 millimoles.
8.0 millimoles. Okay, so
elevated.
Trying to see because when are you're testing this? When after a meal in the morning?
No, not after a meal. I'm testing it in the morning after a state of being fasted.
Yep. Okay, so if we look on this page here that I'm sharing at the moment, so fasting elevated is listed as 5.6 to 6.9 for and high is over 7. So you're still quite high in the blood glucose, but as I was saying, I think that's because it takes a little while for the liver to empty its stores. Mm-hmm. So it's a good little write these down. Track them over time, and let's see how that improves over the next couple of weeks.
My cholesterol is 7.1. Do you know? And I believe that's LDI, but not hold me to it. So 7.1.
LDL?
LDL.
Yep. Yeah. I'm in the carnivore space. Nobody's really worried about cholesterol levels unless you have defective cholesterol, which is the small, dense particles of cholesterol. So that's like damaged cholesterol, and I'm not sure where that comes from. So, yeah. But
I'll keep monitoring these. I'll do them every couple of weeks, and we can check in.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing for me, the biggest measurements we're going to see is going to be on those eVolt scans where we're talking about total body fat and visceral body fat and just overall, weight and, body composition and stuff. And the way you feel, your subjective experience as we go through this sort of fat adaptation phase, because when you start feeling good, that's when you know we're making progress. When you start feeling alive and you have energy and you're not,
I'm writing down how I'm feeling as I'm taking them, and the 3 words were calm, focused, and clear. And I think that probably where I am at the moment, I'm not hyper energized, which is weird for me because I'm an A-type personality, often bouncing off the walls. I believe my coffee consumption's come down because I am conscious about what I'm doing. But it's a quiet calm that I feel, rather than just a fully charged, over-enthusiastic energy. So it's a kind of new state for me.
Excellent. And that's probably a good spot to leave the episode, I think. So you're feeling great.
Feeling good.
Do you have any questions?
Week 2.
Yeah, do you have any questions, mate?
Nope.
Before we go.
Not at all. I'll try and get to the gym a couple of times next week. I'll try and increase my steps to something less than a little bit more than average, to be about 5, maybe 6, maybe 7,000. But keep going.
That's it. Get a little bit of activity happening. Get some sunlight, get outdoors, take your shoes off, walk around on some grass or some sand or something. Feel good outside. You'll start feeling better inside as well. And then, work on those protein and fat targets. And we'll just keep pushing through, make some good choices, and let's keep rolling. Let's keep hammering, mate. Yeah.
I'll speak to you next Friday.
All right. Signing out.